Evening, everyone. After a very successful first event last month, here we are gathered together again for the second virtual networking event as part of our Beyond Work initiative. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all. To begin the event, I would like to invite Deepak, our co-founder and director, to come and set context on the event and the topic. So over to you, Deepak.
Thanks, Inku. I'm delighted to welcome everyone to this session. It's one of IndusGuru's monthly series on our expert speak events on the theme of demystifying ESG.
Thank you, Deepak. So to talk about this session today, it is structured as a knowledge sharing session followed by a fireside chat on the topic demystifying ESG, moderated by our very own team member Mehak Bhatia. Mehak has been an account manager with IndusGuru for a year now, and by now she has interacted with a number of IndusGuru experts. With her, we have two accomplished leaders. I will start with Mr. Gangacharan Sharma. Mr. Ganga is a seasoned ESG veteran with 25 plus years of experience across various sectors and geographies. He is a member of Global Sustainability Standard Board or GRI and has held various leadership positions in TUV Ireland. During his career journey, he has worked on the areas of corporate sustainability, ESG, risk management, quality, environment, health and safety, social accountability, policy advocacy, amongst others. He is awarded as one of the 100 most impactful CSR leaders globally and has been recognized as one of the few global sustainability experts by the Aluminium Stewardship Initiative, a multi-stakeholder global sustainability initiative by the aluminium sector. Mr. Ganga is an IndusGuru expert and has worked with us on ESG assignments with some of our clients as well. Moving on to Mr. Sydney Lobo. Mr. Sydney has over 25 years of in-depth experience in the areas of sustainability, clean energy, and environmental management in the hydrocarbon and power industries. He has held the position of Head of Sustainability and subsequently Chief of Business Collaboration, erstwhile Clean Technology and Applied Research at Tata Power. He has also worked in the area of HSE with Reliance Industries. He also holds 3 patents and has published multiple research papers. He works as an advisory board member of a research institute as well as mentors startups in the space of energy analytics, solar diagnostics, and various next generation technologies and fuels. Now, without further ado, I welcome Mr. Ganga to please take over and start the session.
Environmental, social, and governance. And it is all about the ability of organizations to create and sustain long-term value. And once we talk about value, it does not mean the financial value. It's all about the value in terms of human asset, in terms of environmental issues in a rapidly changing world and managing the risks and opportunities. It's right from the governance, it's talk about board level issues, talk about social issues, both internal and external, likewise environment, internal and external. So that's about the basic premises of ESG. Talk about the external part of it, but also the internal part of it. So it's all about managing the relationship with the stakeholders, both internal as well as external. Typical external stakeholders are communities, our customers, our suppliers, government authorities, research institute or academia. Internal stakeholder could be our contract employees, our own employees, our management, for example. Red marks are some of the significant development happening worldwide. Yeah, many of you from this financial year, this is the screenshot of a office order by Indian Stock Exchange, which is regulated by SEBI, called Securities and Exchange Board of India. And they asked all the top 1,000 listed companies, around 2,000 odd companies are listed in Indian Stock Exchange. So majority of them, at least half of them, would be falling into this requirement or criteria. So they said for this financial year, like in India, we started from April until March. we have to start working, preparing ourselves for a sustainability report. GRI is one of the leading standards used for reporting the sustainability performance. Basically, as a layman, we should understand, or I would say as a beginner, we should understand there are three set of standards. One is the universal standard, which apply to every organization. There are certain sector standard, for example, GRI 12. We as a GRI released in March this year. So it's a global standard for coal mining, coal sector. So likewise, we are preparing the sector standards. So if you have a standard like for aluminium, you have a standard, then you can pick up those relevant. Or if you are telecom, you are energy, utility. So there are some sector standards. So middle is more of a related sector part. Third is the topic standard. Topic means based on your materiality analysis, if you decided, okay, I need to report on these topic, then you can find more deeper insight about these performance area into your these topics. From a risk point of view, business continuity point of view, it's help us to develop environmental system, social system, economic system. And once we say economic, it's also include the financial part of it. So economic is a larger picture or extension of the financial purpose. Another thing we should understand, reporting and rating are two different things. Generally, sustainability report like GRI report or IFC report, or there is a report which is largely demanded by investor called TCFD, Task Force on Climate Related Financial Disclosures. Integrated report is a concept to combine both reports, sustainability report and financial report together. Like in India, BRSR. So these are the reporting. So there is a statement in front of you which talk about what is the company, what are the risks, what company did, where they succeed, what's their plan. So it's give the reader a complete idea about the organization intent, their vision, their performance. Based on this document, there are certain organizations which analyze those reports, create the benchmark data, and they call rating. Reporting. We have reliable reporting, have more chances that they are higher chances of get a higher rate. MSCI, FTSE. So these are the market-based rating system, and very importantly used by the investment community. Very much used by the big customer to make a decision for their suppliers, because they not only talk about the financial credit worthiness of the customer, but in totality, the overall suitability of the supplier or so-called strategic supplier in the long.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Ganga, for sharing these insights on the ABCs of ESG and the difference metrics. For everyone's benefit, I'm Mehek. I'll be moderating the session head on. So coming to the next part of the event, let me start by asking my first question to our next speaker, that is Mr. Sydney. So Mr. Sydney, you were instrumental in setting up the sustainability department in Tata Power more than 10 years ago. Probably this was well before these terms are even fashionable. So do share with us the first steps you took and how has sustainability world really changed from those early days?
Down to the crux of it. At that time, 10 years ago, the MD or the CEO, he should be given more credit than anybody else because he was a leader and he had the vision, and that's how the sustainability department was created, or rather it was opened up for creation. Yes, I came in, and then first and foremost, in the power sector, to understand what is sustainability was the biggest challenge. So there was a lot of knowledge sharing that we had to do. The team that we built was a group of young guys and girls, who were passionate about this subject. Because, there was no degree in sustainability per se. So they were passionate about this topic. They were passionate about this. I think somewhere down the line, I'm not very sure, maybe some industries are doing it, but somewhere down the line, the connect between what is being done by us and how it is impacting, the climate-related aspects or the resources aspects, and how can we do something ourselves? Like I think Ganga mentioned something about circularity. That's another aspect which needs to be integrated. So, somewhere it has gone a lot into reporting, a lot into documenting things, and very few people, frankly speaking, very few people have the time to sit and read a 60, 70 page report, certified by XYZ or whatever it may be. So there is, a simple openness of what am I doing? What difference am I actually making to the organization? That I think somewhere has fallen, not completely between the cracks, it's hanging somewhere.
So as we are hearing circularity and the circular economy nowadays a lot, let me ask you, is this more about new technology or can it be achieved by better management practices across the value chain? It would be great if you can share a few examples also from your experience.
So actually, if I may use the term, in India, we are a circular economy because right since, our childhood, the old newspapers are sold, and then they are put into making new print or whatever. So there is a cycle to it. That is nothing but circularity. Now, in industry, what one has to look at, and there is a saying, one man's waste is another man's treasure. That's how you have kabadiwalas in India, and they use the stuff which we throw and they make money out of it. That's nothing but circularity. Now, how does what the industry needs to look at it, saying that, okay, can I make a value out of this? And it brings in value. That's why it's called circular economy. So when you look at something that you create or something that you generate, and it may be valuable for someone else, and if you can get a certain value for yourself, no harm. But if it's become a pain point for you, you might as well give it to someone else who feels that that's a treasure for him, and he makes, he uses that as a raw material. So basically, at the end of the day, what's happening is you're reducing the waste disposal. You're giving a certain material to someone else. Yes, technology interventions are required because we have been traveling the same path, and then now there could be a technological intervention in order to make this waste into a raw material for someone else. So that's the kind of technological
clean technologies while you are working with some of these startups in the space. So if you can tell us something more exciting developments that you see within the clean technology, which can make the most difference.
The biomass space to make alternative fuels, or many of them are working in this plastic space, wherein, Ganga mentioned about plastic and single use plastic, etc. And plastic is a great boon. It has really changed the way we look at or the way we use things. But the problem is it doesn't degrade. So now there are many startups who are working on looking at different raw materials or natural raw materials to make what is called as bioplastics. There's obviously CO2 capture, and there are many of them who are working in the energy space because everybody knows. Energy as on today, we are still using fossil fuels. We're talking about hydrogen being the next fuel, but is it economical? So people are really, the startups and the that community is working very hard on the so-called energy space in order to make it a clean energy.
So I would now invite Deepak to conclude the session on a closing note.
Thanks, Ganga and Sydney, for a very engaging discussion. To the audience also, which has stayed engaged through this session. Appreciate that for a very varied set of and rich inputs on the subject. I know we probably scratched the surface. If any of you have questions about the ESG agenda, please feel free to reach out. You have, of course, our experts, Ganga and Sydney, and you can reach out to us, of course, if you have specific questions. We'll direct it to them and share back with you. Do suggest also any inputs that you would have for us for future events. Do stay engaged. This platform is meant for a network on discussing themes which are of current, emerging, and interest and of relevance to the future for all of us. So with that, let me conclude the session today and thank you all very much once again for being part of it.